How dare Adekunle Gold, in a few years later, because they have some little money, go and send somebody to jail for 2 years for writing something that we all know is not true. Let me tell you, I woke up yesterday, everybody is calling me. They said my wife and children have died in the US. You understand? They posted it everywhere. People called me and said, I just called my wife, are you guys still alive? They said, yes. And I just said, I didn't even reply to it.
Sir, one last one, sir. About Adekunle Gold saga. Why were you against him, despite what he said about his child?
No, I'm not against him because of what he said about his child. Exactly the reason I stood up for the person who Adekunle Gold sent to prison is because Adekunle Gold himself was a banger boy. In 2012, look at all the things he wrote against Jonathan. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at that time, he was wishing Jonathan dead. And if they arrested him at that time, I would have stood up for him and ensured that his rights were not violated. How dare Adekunle Gold, in a few years later, because they have some little money, go and send somebody to jail for 2 years for writing something that we all know is not true. Let me tell you, I woke up yesterday, everybody is calling me. They said my wife and children have died in the US. You understand? They posted it everywhere. People called me and said, I just called my wife, are you guys still alive? They said, yes. And I just said, I didn't even reply to it. That's how you handle such stories. It's not. There was a time Donald Trump's son, he's the president of the most powerful nation in the world, was said to have Down syndrome. Yes. The wife said, no, my son doesn't have son. If you even go to court, I wish I was in court today, I will ask Adekunle Gold himself, did your child die? No. End of case. I was once threatened by one religious leader, one Sheikh Lau. You know, he's in Kaduna. That Sowore reporters wrote that he passed during COVID. So they sent me a letter and somebody asked me to call him. So I called him. I said, it's a mistake on the part of Sowore reporters. He said, no, I'm going to sue you. I said, okay, when we get to court, I have only one defense. And that is the fact that you are still alive. That's the end of the case. So I don't know what is wrong with our people. That's why I say a lot of times that Nigerians are not opposed. Some Nigerians, we are opposed to, are not opposed to oppression. They just want to lay their hands on little power. They will oppress even worse than the people we are fighting against today. How can you send a child to 2 years in prison? You actually sat down with your wife, got a prosecutor, police to prosecute somebody and send him to jail for 2.5 years because of 3 lines of something that was said about you on Twitter. But you was not harassed when you wrote tons and tons of things against Jonathan. His own wife, Simi, wrote on Twitter that she was something about a little child where she was working at a daycare. Yes, that something sexualizing a child, which is a crime any day. There's no limit of statute of limitation on that. So if the government goes to arrest me tomorrow, everybody will be saying, oh, she was just playing. But why can't you accept that this guy is also cashing cruise? It's internet banters. You can't. It's the same thing I said about the Lumelu and the guy they said his children have HIV and all that. Nedunwoko, when he went and arrested Tuma, it's the same thing we said. In the case of Tuma is even a prophet because he was saying that he suspects that Nedunwoko is not the father of the children of Regina. A few weeks later, the two of them are dragging that. We are not even sure. Before you know it, the wife has run away from Nedunwoko. Before you know it, Nedunwoko has lost election primaries.
3 votes, like him.
So, but you wanted to kill Tuma that time. Everybody's like, how can you defend Tuma? How can you defend Tuma? And Nigerians are so sure. I said, and the simple question I asked at that time is, have you done DNA test on those children to be sure that it's Nedunwoko that is the father? The only person who knows the father of his children is the wife. And the wife has packed out of the house and left. But that time they wanted to kill me. How can you support Tuma? Tuma should die in jail. He should rot in jail. Where are we today? So Adekunle Gold should go and remove the child from prison and apologize to everybody that he has ever bantered with on the internet. Because he was clearly doing the same thing against Jonathan just 2012. So suddenly you are untouchable because you have a record deal. Very sad. And sadly, I listen to his music, Ire, Ayo. You know, I actually love his music, but I hate the fact that he's an oppressive being. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Tinubu might actually be running a diarchy without us knowing. Partly democracy, partly military rule. And we saw that with what happened to Justice Crack. Army arrested him, handed him over to DSS. DSS carried on as if Army had a right to arrest him. Judges were sanctioning illegality and impunity by trying somebody who was illegally arrested. So that's what happened. Anytime the Army deploys troops, it is a vote of no confidence on the Inspector General of Police, whose job it is to run the country with Nigeria Police internal security. And let it be on record today that the more Army troops you deploy on the streets of Nigeria, the less democracy you have. So don't come and complain that there's a coup when they are deploying troops. Because one of the things the troops will do is to curb the fundamental rights of Nigerians. You'll be seeing them beating up people on the street. They'll tell people you can't talk. It's tantamount to declaring a state of emergency. You don't deploy troops to handle internal affairs of any country. It's the job of the police. As a result, it is clear that the Inspector General of Police retired, because he has also retired, he has reached the age of 60, has failed in his duties to run the internal security of the country. And every other agency that is responsible has failed. If the Army have to be deployed, because don't be surprised that next week this place will be manned by soldiers. They were already there this morning.
Yes.
They brought them here yesterday as well. So the more you allow the Army to do the job of police, traffic, civil defense, you are killing the democracy in the country. And it is their own way of taking over power. That's how they start, gradually. In fact, you might be surprised at some of the insecurity we have in the country. It's been carried out by the Army so that they will have more inroads into the affairs of the country. That's what I said before.
Sir, what can you say concerning the feud in ADC between Amici and Atiku over 2027 elections, sir?
How can there be feud between Atiku and Amici? There's no feud. The problem